That looks good. What's that?
It's wine unknown. Welcome to Wine Unknown. I'm your host. My name is Bryant Fennell, also known as Bright Guy, and I'm a wine specialist. What does that even mean? Well, it means that I know a lot of information about wine, and I want to share that along with my passion with you guys. So no matter where you're at in your journey, no matter if it's the beginning, the middle, well, let's face it, there's no such thing as the end. This is the show for you. So what did you guys think of the Malbec episode? Hopefully you enjoyed it. It was jam-packed with a lot of information and some really cool stories and pairings. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure that you listen to the last episode of Malbec. But right now we're going to move forward to another one of my favorite grape varietals. I'm so phony. Like all of these are like my grape. I don't know. Like I just love all of these grape varietals and these styles of wines, but it does not matter. I'm not that phony. I can enjoy what I like, all right? Doesn't matter. All right, but we're going to get into Merlot. Now, Merlot is so great to me. I get so excited because I really do love it. It probably is my real favorite. It's like picking your favorite child. You can't do that. Like, I don't know. It's one of my favorites, though. But let's get into the show, all right? First things first, let's get into how do you actually pronounce this grape varietal or this type of wine, all right? And you heard it so many different ways. You heard Merlot, you heard Merlot, you probably heard a ton of other different ways that it's been said. But the proper one is Merlot, like Merlot. I just like to say Merlot because I'm like, it's more nasally for me and it feels like you can understand a whole lot more. It doesn't sound dull. You know, when you say Merlot, it just sounds so boring. But if I say Merlot, like Merlot, what's that? You know, it's like that. I don't know. I'm phony though. Like I said, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, so what do we know about this grape varietal, right? So Merlot comes from Bordeaux, France, right? So it's a French grape varietal that's usually more so in the blend or the Bordeaux blend, where it's depending on where it's from, it's going to be either just a blending grape or it could be the star. Now don't get it misconstrued because Merlot is planted everywhere. It's one of the best grapes to actually plant because it's so versatile because it can stand on its own or it can be just a really great support to whatever kind of wine you're trying to make. And there's a reason for that. So Merlot it has less acidity than something like a Cabernet Sauvignon, and it also has lower tannins. So that gives it a little bit more of a smoother kind of velvet kind of like texture and structure to it. That's just like perfect. So whatever you're trying to do, just throw some Merlot in there and it's going to be all right. That's what I would just say, right? Now, within Bordeaux, right? If you're on the right bank, then it's going to be more Merlot forward within the blend. It's usually just like Merlot and Cap Franc. And that's because the soils there are so much more richer. They have all the like nutrients that it needs for this plush kind of like lush great red wine or this grape to just thrive in, as opposed to the left bank where that's going to be more gravel. It's a struggle over there in those soils. So it's going to be more Cabernet Sauvignon dominant, right? But the plantings are still focused on Merlot. And that's pretty crazy. It's so fun. It's so rich just because this grape is so versatile. Like, it's just amazing. So on the right bank, you're expecting flavors and aromas like leather, strawberry, fig, plum, vanilla, almonds, you know? And you're always going to get a little bit of smokiness, and that's going to come from the barrel and everything. Like, it's just like those right there. You got me so, you know, because everything about that says that this is the perfect harmony of whatever it is that you're looking for within a wine, or a red wine, I should say. So that's just nothing but lushness. You know when you bite into like a really ripe strawberry, how that makes you feel? Like in the density within like a fig, or that brightness from a plum. Vanilla, ooh, that always makes you smile because it just made me smile. So, so you're expecting all of these great qualities from a right bank Bordeaux from the Merlot grape. One of my favorite appellations or regions in Bordeaux on the right bank is Pomerol. Like I have an affinity for it, but it's all because this was my introduction to wine, I guess you would say. I was opening up Urban Farmer Steakhouse in Philadelphia, and they just got it from the Four Seasons. And the beverage director and we went into the wine cellar and we were just going to remodel it. And for me doing that, his name was John Williams, or his name is John Williams. He was like, "Here you go." I was like, "What is this?" He was like, It's a red wine. It's a thank you for helping us put this together." I was like, "Oh, snap, nice." He said, "Do you know anything about wine?" I said, "Absolutely not," because at that time I was a craft cocktail bartender. So he was like, "Okay, open this wine up, let it sit for 2 hours, and have some duck or something with it." But there you go. That's how it was, and I was so appreciative of it. And so I'm kind of biased because that was the level like that I was introduced to it, so that changed everything for me. And then I did that. I opened it up. I let it sit in the bottle for 2 hours. I should have asked him. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, should I have like decanted it and let it sit for 2 hours so we can get some aeration? I don't know, but I didn't know back then. But but it was so good, even still, as like now that I'm thinking about it, as I recall the experience, it was probably one of the best wines that I've had, and that's probably why I do love Merlot, because it wasn't too astringent. I still got all these nice like aromas and flavors from it. I didn't understand what was happening in that moment because I had no idea, but I could smell aromas because I was, getting aromas from distilled spirits forever. So, but I didn't know how to appreciate the wine the way that I do now. And that was my introduction, and I think that's why I actually do like the Merlot grape so much, definitely from the right bank in Bordeaux, because it was so great. Like the texture on it was like so soft. The tannins weren't overbearing. I still got all of these nice ripe fruit flavors. It was great, and I had it on its own because I could not afford duck, back then. I mean, even still, I didn't even know how to cook. So if I was to buy duck myself, it just wasn't going to work out. It just wasn't going to work out. But now I know how to do a lot of stuff. So I'm more comfortable with preparing my own meals as well as going out and ordering. So it's a little bit different now. Of course, they say with age, you've gained a lot of experience. And I'm starting to understand that, and it's not as intimidating anymore. So, like, with my Merlot, I know the kind of steak that I like. I like flank, right? And because it's so easy, I mean, it is a little bit chewy on the tougher, chewier side, but then that all works. Definitely with the Merlot or Merlot wine, just because of the texture of the Merlot, of the wine. And also the texture and the flavors that you're going to get from the flank steak. It's amazing how all of that just comes together, and even how you prepare it and what kind of seasonings. Like if you're throwing any kind of spices on there, you already know that works because you're already getting a hint of smoke and what was that? And vanilla from the wine. So that's just going to play off of whatever other spices, whether it's black peppercorn, whether it's clove, all of that is just going to go in unison, right? And don't, oh, come on, just imagine if you throw that flank on the grill. Oh my gosh. All right, yeah. So you could do that. I've done it with baby back ribs. Yes, throw those on a grill. That's fine. You don't even have to throw those on a grill. You can bake those however you want to cook your ribs. This is going to work. Yes, I'm saying heartier meat dishes is what's going to work with the Merlot. Outside of that, I mean, do you want to keep it fun? I like vanilla bean ice cream to go with my Merlot. Like I could have dessert. I could have dessert with my wine. It's so versatile. And that's because it doesn't have too much tannin in it. Definitely from the right bank in Bordeaux. You should try some of those pairings. You can't go wrong with a charcuterie board. Like you can't. Cause you got the dried meat there. And then you have the cheeses and whatever kind of fruit and honey or jams that they have on that, it's all going to work. Just because, look, I'm going off right now, but just because, like it says, fig, so you can see how much depth this is going to go. You got plums, which has that brightness, so this is going to work. It's just a great style of wine. With all that being said, why isn't Merlot as popular in the United States of America as it is elsewhere? And I tell you, us as Americans, we are really into entertainment. So media really controls the way that we view society, the way that we conduct ourselves, honestly. So it was this movie called Sideways back in 2004, and one of the scenes, I guess it was near the end of the movie, where two actors are somewhere and it's just it's just saddening. It's just saddening. It's just saddening. But one of the actors said, "No, if anyone orders Merlot, I'm leaving. I'm not drinking any Merlot." And that right there was the thing that made Merlot's stock market plummet so much. Because everybody was on the Merlot wave and craze all before that. A lot of vineyards started planting it, started ripping up their old vines of other grape varietals. And then this happens. And it's just like, holy smoke. Maybe it's just a phase. But no, Merlot is still trying to make its way back, you know? And it sucks. It sucks because there would have been so many great wines available. There are still many great wines available, but it's a whole lot less because a lot of people after that moment, after they saw that or heard about that, they stopped buying it, they stopped drinking it, and it became a real thing. This is 20 years ago at this point now. And if you're just planting a grapevine, you're looking at a cycle of all right, that's 3 years in order to start to get the juices going within the vine. So you're still trying to figure it out. And then there's vintages after that. So, so it's not really 20 years. It's it's not a lot less, but it's still pretty youthful. It's still young. It's still young for that investment and for it to go this way. And that sucks. That sucks. That sucks. But there are great vineyards in, let's just say, California. I guess we can even bring it down to Napa, Sonoma. We can go there where, Cabernet Sauvignon is still top tier. That's still the big one, right? But right under that is Merlot. And a lot of these places still do release Merlot, and they don't just use them for like the blends on like their caps, but like single varietal Merlot or Merlot dominant wines or labels, right? And one of those that you can see for sure is like Decoy, Duckhorn. There's a lot. There are a lot of them out there, you know. And these ones still are real juicy. They do have a little bit more tannin. Let's see. They are fun. They are fun, but you know that those aren't the ones. Now, the ones that you would want to look for that's out on the market, but they're a little bit more pricier, would be something like Stag's Leap. And with this, I am in the steakhouse, American steakhouse, Brazilian steakhouse. It don't even matter. As long as it's a steakhouse, that's where I am buying this. That's where I'm drinking this predominantly, because you're buying into the culture at that point, right? You're buying into the American culture while everybody's table is going to have a bottle of like Cabernet Sauvignon or something, you know. A way to stand out would still be, all right, Merlot. Boom. Because it's phenomenal. It's great. It's great. You're still going to get all that juiciness. It's not going to be as tannic or as astringent as Cabernet Sauvignon, but you're getting something that's really similar but a little bit more smoother, and it's going to be great with whatever dishes they have at that steakhouse. So instead of paying like the $1 million for, you know, the Cabernet Sauvignon, you can save yourself a couple $100 by buying a Merlot or a Merlot and be totally fine. And it's like, you know, don't care, because I know what I'm getting. And this is definitely a great value on any wine list in any steakhouse. Is just look for in either Napa or Sonoma Merlot. And that's a win. Because it's not about the price tag. It's all about the experience and the pairing. And this pairing is going to work. It's probably going to be better than a cab, you know? And then that Som is going to look at you like, oh, all right, kudos. All right, so you know a little something. And then you can look back at them like, just a little bit. I wish that you guys had some Chilean Merlot here, though, on your list. Just because, I mean, the plantings on it is so small. A lot of people, or there aren't a lot of vineyards that's producing Merlot wines in Chile. But there is this one that I know. La Postal Merlot is fantastic. And it has a whole different flavor profile than the previous two that we spoke about in this episode. And it's so rich. And this, we're talking about around the $20 bottle price range, you know, depending on whoever's selling it. But it's still around $20, and it drinks at least like a $50 bottle. You know, the fruit is nice and ripe and lush and plump. You know, like this is the value. And that's why this is important for you to be able to understand. Like, all right, so this is where the deals come in, because Chile is not known for Merlot, but they make fantastic Merlot. So since it doesn't have any market share in it, they don't jack up the prices a lot at all, you know? So this is where it becomes an affordable experience where you can kind of just like, all right, it's not as fruit forward as the Napa or the Sonoma or even the Bordeaux wine, you know, a version of Merlot. It's a little bit different, but it has some dried fruit. It has a lot of age. It has a lot of the similar characteristics as the other 2 areas or 3 areas that we spoke about before. It has a lot of similarities, but it's just different. It's a lot more leaner too, because it's a lot cooler. So it has a good amount of acidity, which breaks everything down. So This is really good. If you can ever come across a Chilean Merlot, you should definitely try it. And you don't have to take that to the steakhouse. That can just be, that's your table wine. You know, when people are asking, what are we drinking? You can sit there and say, oh, table wine. It's just the casual wine that I just like to drink. And they're going to be like, this is so good. And you're like, it's Merlot. And they're going to be like, what? It's going to blow their minds and change the way they view a lot of things. So hopefully you had a good time listening to this episode. Hopefully you've learned something about Merlot or Merlot. Just keep on listening, keep on showing support, subscribe, share, do what all those other places want you to do for this. I know I don't sound even enthused about it, but I mean, if you feel like this is valuable, if you feel like you're learning something, then that's really important, because this is changing your life right before your eyes, and it's just casual listening, you know? So, I mean, hopefully it's helping you with your studies or even just your everyday life of just trying new things. Like whatever your transformation is, hopefully this is helping you. All right. So thank you once again for checking out Wine Unknown. I'm your host, Bryant Fennell, also known as Bright Guy. And we'll keep on going through the noble grapes. We only have a couple more. And then the next series, it's going to be like that. All right, ciao. Have a good time. All right, bye.